Alright, we're live. Let me just... Hello! I have to open up the stream manager thing on Twitch, so you know. That way you can, change, like, what your Go Live notification is.
Okay.
Yeah. And that way people are actually notified that you're actually streaming.
Cool.
It's great. It's exciting.
Well, you're all going to excuse me because I'm having a little snack while we're doing this. So I won't talk with my mouth full. Yeah. But I am going to munch on some food.
Yeah, because he just woke up. I've been awake for a long time, but that's because I went to work already. Okay, so when we left off last time, we had just finished... Whoop! Let's just zoom in. It's totally fine. As it takes a sec. The Battle of Musin, which finished off a big war that my character, Rasha, wasn't really a part of, but ended up partaking in the last battle. So after that, several of the other characters, but the player characters, went off home to do their own thing, but not all of them. My character, along with a few others, went to Nabiez, specifically to Milovich, which is up here.
So this is a... Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're fine.
Short backdrop on Milovich and Nabiez, Talaran and Naboria. A long time ago, when the game originally started and I was running it as like a, not as the module of here, check this world out, more as the what do you guys want to play and where do you want to play, a lot of the players chose Nabiez because there wasn't a whole lot of story for it yet. There wasn't a lot that was that developed, and they felt that was a good place. It was like a frontier land with, wilds and cities and small communities. A very, very traditional fantasy setting, but I didn't have a whole lot for it. So they all decided to play there, and this was, 2007?
Oh,
no,
wow.
no, 2008? Somewhere around there.
A while ago.
And, so, Milovich used to be...
Hi, Mom.
There was a quest there going on to find these stones, and we can get into that later. And there was a vampire who lived here who was formerly a knight.
Oh, Milovich?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was called something else. The name of the town was something completely different than Milovich. It became Milovich because they defeated the vampire, releasing his soul, actually, and, defeating him in proper combat as a warrior and aiding him onto his god and ending his curse. And for their bravery in doing this, they were just allowed to take this dirty old keep in the backwaters somewhere that no one even remembered anymore, because that vampire had made it certain that nobody came around. Because he was a good guy, and he's like, you know what, I have to do this thing.
The vampire was a good guy?
Yeah. He was just a vampire. He got stuck as a vampire.
I see. So he wanted to perish.
Yes. Yeah, he wanted to go.
Wow.
And again, there's more into that because that was a whole adventure and story.
That other players actually...
Mm-hmm. A long time ago. So it's now Milovich is Milovich, not what it was before. And it's developed into a large town at this point in time. And this basically is like the town of the PCs. This is the place where they grabbed a hold of, they grabbed the keep, they grabbed the surrounding areas, and all the PCs in some way have added to it over the years of playing, and it grew from nothing, literally nothing, into a small city. So this is where they've come back to after Cyril Milovich from the Dragon Isles, who is then recognized as a noble here, throughout his story. And this is our friend Kevin Mackey playing him. And yeah, that's Milovich. Talaron, the city to the north, also was not very large. It's where Duwadna is from, and Druidism is the main religion of the land. Though there are other gods and goddesses worshipped here, the Druids allow it, the Druids allow magic, things like that. But they're the main crux of the religion, juxtaposed to their enemy, well, no longer enemy now, Erwin, who, like, arcane magic and might is their power. The Druids and the people of Nabias tend the land and are very earthly and salt of the earth type people. Basic means, basic needs. Not many of them have very lofty goals, normal nobles, things like that. They all tie back to some sort of early druidic line. So that's a short brief on Nabias.
So, look at this beautiful map. He makes all the maps. They're so cool. And I love them so much.
I hand draw them on paper.
I just want to zoom in like a tiny.
And have an underlight to draw many layers, and then I scan them in with a scanner, and then I use Photoshop and I put the layers that I've scanned in on top of each other, cut out what's not necessary, and then use Photoshop to give it depth.
It's very cool. I love the map. All his maps are good, but then the ones that he puts even this much effort into, which I think maybe is about 4 or 5 that you put this so much far. Effort into. Well, apart from the world map, that's obviously a lot of effort. And it was great because I was sitting with him while he was working on some of them, this one in particular. And I helped with some of the names of the parts of the town, which was fun. Like, where's Roverton?
E.
No, yes. E. Roverton, which is this area. E, that's where people that are traveling, and coming in, that's where they stay. Rovers.
It's also like the foreign quarter of the town. Although at this point in time,
that's the word I couldn't find.
At this point in time, Roverton isn't built yet. It's still woods and forests there.
This is more updated.
As well, the Temple of Hieratis is not built. The Temple of Inanna is also not built. But
I don't know who Inanna is.
Everything else is there. Things happen in the story. These places get built. Specifically, the Dragon's Nest Inn and Theater, Wounded Wolf, and Andala Trading Company is one of the largest complexes in the city because of, things that other characters had put here.
Yeah.
Such as
Andala.
Sid Larethian, my friend Mike, Nicola Andala, my friend Shane, and Duwadna, Natel, my cousin Ron Carter. They're also some of the very first characters to play in the game, and like I said, over time, many people put things here. The Temple of Bestine was actually raised by Jeff Kupish, who was playing a priestess of Bestine who came here at his goddess's behest. He was playing a female Aasimar priestess, and ended up being involved with Ragnar. And there's a whole story and
that was a
drama.
PC?
Yes, that was a PC.
I did not know that was a PC.
Yeah, totally. That happened in character. And drama about all that. So, again, as we get to things, I can state on this map, what comes around when. But as of right now, Temple of Ivantur, Temple of Inanna, and Roverton... Temple of Hieratis, Temple of Inanna, and Roverton are not here.
Yeah.
And actually... Is Duval... Yeah, Duval Pasture is here, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so is Larethian Farms. Because, over here... You see, Larethian Farms, Larethian Apiary, things like that,
here.
right? That is with Sin.
Upper right.
Because Sin is one of Milovich's, Cyril's vassals to, tend the land, as is a Duval from the Trade Kingdoms. Einhorn is the family of his wife, Lady Milovich.
Over on the left.
Her family. And then down at the front, if you scroll down a little bit so you can see, is the Evening Fortress in Eventon, and this is also the headquarters of the Twilight's Blade, a mercenary company set up by Aramar Kelseth, played by my friend Jesse, way back when, also one of the original characters, and Jesse Wallace, his full name. And over time, it's kind of grown to this. So parts of this town have become larger, but it's still not. It really was a village, had become larger and become a large town, but it's still not quite as industrious and full. Later, these grow, and they're starting to grow now, but they haven't fully grown. So in Roverton, where you see like the different names, Erwin, Caranthus, Trade Kingdoms, Talaminus, Dragon Isles, when it's built, that's where dignitaries from those courts stay, or travelers from those lands can have residence.
And
Oh, another thing. Sorry.
you're
Sorry.
fine, babe.
Maber's Herbal Remedies. That's also created by a PC.
That's over there, kind of on the left upper.
My friend Erin, she played a wood elf named Maver, who, after a while, created a little like herbal shop and like hunting store. She was a ranger, and was centered here for a while. And the Grove of Storms was also put together by my friend Steve Honlick, who played a god-blooded druid. Yeah, really. Who played a god-blooded druid, who got along with Duodna quite well, and created a little grove here while their PCs were centered around here for a while. So nearly every PC that is played here has done something to it and for it. And the Temple of Nikita, that just appears.
And nobody knows it's there anyway. It's fine.
No, they don't.
That's you sort of hidden. Yeah, the Temple of Nikita over there on the left. But since for one thing the foreign quarter Evanton or Roverton wasn't there yet, and also even if it was, none of those sections are where my character is from, Rumadon, and she's also personal associate of Cyril, so I stayed in the castle. It's so exciting.
Which is, if you can or can't tell, is up on a plateau high above the rest of the city.
It's from the top-down view. It's slightly difficult to tell, but you can at least tell that it's like separate with like the water and everything.
I was hoping the shadings would help give it a view that is a loftier, higher up. As well, like within the plateau, which is rather high, there are caves and holes, and it's where the dragon riders of Nabias became based out of for a while. And so their dragons could roost there. That's why it's called Dragon's Roost.
My mom can't hear us, but California.
Yeah, that's Nabias. So dragons live here. Dragon riders live here. House Milovich is here. There's some House Ironhorn and House Duval here. House Lorethian. Many things happen here because the PCs made it happen here. And it's been a very exciting little city to watch grow and change over the course of the entirety of the story. And when Rasha comes in, it's still growing and changing. And it's much bigger than before, but it's still not complete.
But yeah. So let's see. So Cyril, of course, goes back to Milovich. That's people that we were with before. Belmont is going back and building a house, I guess.
A chateau.
A chateau. I'm sorry. House is also correct. Ragnar went home because he's a jarl in the north. Redding was helping in Moosin, and I guess he was in Milovich some too. I mean, he's a magic person, so he can kind of be where he wants, when he wants.
No, New City is Milovich. But the New City, it's like, as a kid, that's why I said it's been growing.
I see. Lord Staniak went back to Caranthus to get more aid in rebuilding Moosin.
And introduce his cousin Peter to his betrothed Lady Bretta. So,
which I didn't even remember because I was like, that's not who he's married to now.
After Moosin, Staniak made arranged a marriage between Lady Bretta for helping save Musin, Caranthus' aid, to his cousin. Lady Bretta runs Musin. To his cousin, Peter Staniak. So that Caranthus...
I read that wrong.
And...
that's introducing Peter to Peter's betrothed.
Erwin. Yeah.
I read that wrong.
That's okay.
Because his betrothed, I was like, Staniak had a betrothed?
It's so Erwin and Caranthus could kind of intermingle again. Staniak has been slowly working to try to, in ways, bring the Caranthic lines and the Erwin lines back together somewhat to recreate the the Caranthic Empire of old. We'll see if it works for him.
Truskin reunites with his siblings Sin and Ofana in Erwin City to begin rebuilding the fleet. Is like that the airship fleet?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So Sin, Lorethian, played by Mike Shepard, for a brief moment, I believe that Ryan and Mike played together once, because Mike is one of the earliest characters, and he retired just before the war, because he'd kind of accomplished everything he wanted to with the character, and so the character became an NPC, and I kind of talked with Mike about what the character would do and how it would proceed, and that's how it went. So Aaron the 22nd was a jerk, and he had a lot of bastards. Many of them were sacrificed in his rituals, but two of them survived, and that would happen to be Treskin and Sin. Both who are bastards of different elven women. One of them a kidnapped princess from Talaminus of the House Lorethian, who perishes early on in the story, Mike's mother, or Sin's mother. Another one is the Queen of the Drow, Lilian Liliath, Treskin's mother. She's crazy and powerful, and the Drow and Erwin had some sort of alliance. The only other child who was not sacrificed by Erwin in order to try to attempt to gain some power or gain arcane might and knowledge is his beloved daughter. His birth human daughter with a noble human who passed away at her birth, lady of House Duval, named Novana Erwin. And she is Sin and Treskin's half-sister. They helped save her and each other when they fought in the Battle of Erwin City against the king. They eventually killed the king, and now Treskin's returning with his siblings to help rebuild Erwin after the war and rebuild the fleet that took a crippling loss due to Cyril Milovich's brilliant military strategy, except in Musin.
Yikes. Let's see. Alexander has been wandering the land, setting up shop with his spoils in the various cities of Erwin and Nabiez. He's a merchant. It's great. He's got things at shops everywhere. Graven has returned to the forge.
And Elgard.
Yeah, he's got title and lanes, and was recognized as nobility by his lord Dorian Duval, making his new house a subset of an ancient and powerful one. Is that when he gets Glisterjäger?
Yeah, this is when Graven becomes Glisterjäger.
Why is that hard to say?
This is German? I don't know. It means gold hunter.
Yeah.
Because he's of the sorceress line of dragons, and a gold dragon is his... funny enough, Dorian Duval, the ancient line of Duval is traditionally a dragon hunting house. And Dorian Duval wears this scaled robe of many different metallic dragons' scales. And so Dorian was quite eager.
Dragons.
Yes. Yes. Dorian's not a nice guy, and he's awesome. So, anyway, so he welcomes Graven in, also knowing that Graven houses the god of magic within him right now, even though Graven doesn't realize the full weight of what's going on. And we'll get into that more as Phil, our friend Phil Suiters, will be joining us at some point in these and going over stuff with his character, because he wished to as well. We'll figure out how to do that.
But yeah,
but he is still a werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
He is still a sorcerer, and he is partially a god. So Graben's going through some stuff right now.
Oh, yeah. Rasha and Aki we're both waiting in Milovich for help with our nation's problems. Mine is the, efreeti that escaped and is causing a bunch of havoc. Aki is searching for the black scrolls, which are things that can make bad things happen if they're all together or something. I don't know.
If they're all brought together, they release the dark god on Atungu, or could release him. And so many people in Nahura have taken great effort to separate them and put them in different parts of the world, and other people in Nahura are trying to bring them together to keep them separate from other people in Nahura, and it's a bunch of people talking and no one really knowing who's going where to do what, and so everyone in Nahura is always looking for the Black Scrolls.
Mm-hmm. Nanashi, who is originally from Nahura, but now he's just a pirate, he says he'll help Aki for the right price.
He's a pirate.
Kaufman, who I don't remember very much.
That was Smurf's character. He played for a moment.
But I never saw.
No, he played the assassin. He was in the Battle of Musin.
But, the person wasn't there here.
He was for a while. He didn't stay the whole time.
He was at the house?
Yes. He was literally with you and Argoth when you guys fought at work. It was the three of you.
Curse this ADHD memory that picks and chooses specific things to remember and then just tosses the other ones out the window.
He didn't stay the whole time. He couldn't stay the whole time. But he was there in the beginning.
Yeah, Coffin goes back to Volkshout and wishes to reunite the spy rings of Erwin.
Mm-hmm.
Argoth, I guess goes back to Eleanor. It's a little different. Something Synthesis is leaving and magic things. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's not things that Rasha knows nothing about.
No, it's Other characters go do their lives and figure stuff out afterwards.
Yep. Yeah, there's so many things. Yep, I don't know any of that. So,
Mora?
Do you want me to? I thought I would get to that.
Oh sure, okay.
I don't know.
I didn't know.
I'm just trying to.
Section was under.
Well, I don't know.
So what I had done here is, since everyone went their own ways, I kind of had something for each character to do in the game. So I had headlines under their names.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them overlap with each other.
Yeah, that's why it's just a little bit confusing. Only a little bit, it's fine. Anyways, so Rasha's in Milovich waiting and trying to get help for Rumadan, right? Cyril is tired of fighting. He wants to stay home.
Yeah.
And rule his city and make sure it's good. And that's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to go out anymore. So Rasha happens to talk to his wife. Just tells her why she's there. And Cyril's wife is like, he should help you with that. So she goes and talks to him and is like, you should help her or something. It's fine. But yeah, you don't have anything in there really about the party, so if you want to talk about that and Moro showing up.
So what's in the Mora part, right?
No, it's not mentioned. I read the whole thing. It's not mentioned maybe once briefly. I think it's all in your head, babe. See.
Yes.
Everything is in such weird.
So they are. So Cyril takes tonight She does eventually come talk with Rasha and with Aki, but Lady Milovich fields most of their questions and promises that her husband will speak with them the next day, which also happens to coincide with the birthday of their son, which she has to prepare for a party. And at that, Ragnar also returns because he was there for the kid's birth, and
and party.
Other people show up, and it's kind of a stormy day, a stormy spring day in the evening, but there are minstrels playing, and it's kind of a normal noble-ish party. Different nobles and people that they've known over the years have come and given a gift or wish their well to the kid. Wizards they know like Arcady, the king, various people like that, and other members of other noble houses of Navies, dignitaries they know there. So at the party, when they're going to speak with, I believe it is, maybe you've already spoken with Milovich at this time.
Maybe.
With Lord Milovich at this time.
But yeah.
I think you actually have. I think you guys have spoken with him, but he wants to wait to go do anything about it because he wants to get a hold of people that he knows and try to find people to help. And luckily Ragnar's there, and they kind of talk about it, and Ragnar's like, oh yeah. The city is Scrooge. Yeah. So, Ragnar hears it out also, and it's kind of like haberdashery, but I guess I'll help.
Haberdashery.
Since we were there before, because he likes Rumadan. He liked being there before, so he's like, okay, I'll go help.
And it's always good to have a barbarian along.
Right. Nanashi was also happened to be at the party because he promised to help Aki, and Aki was going to get him paid, so Nanashi is there too. And at the party, in the evening of it, it became mid-evening. A very tired and beaten Moro appears at the party, stumbling in as if just near death. Scroll back up, please.
To where?
To Moro.
There's literally nothing on Moro.
Please stay there, though.
There's nothing there. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, there's enough for me. So he stumbles into the party and basically collapses in front of his friends. And after they get him to bed...
Had I met him?
Not before. This is
the
the first time that many of you have met him, but he is also one of the original characters played by Rowan Buck, who also will be joining us for this at some point in time.
Yay!
To tell his story from his perspective. So he stumbles in and falls to the ground, and whispering something about efreeti and Rumadan, and which perks Rasha's ears, like, what? And so after
she knows it's an issue. She's fought the efreeti already,
but not any relatively new news. So after getting him some rest and recovery, he wakes and speaks with them about how Aaliyah, played by Rowan's wife Megan, also a character from a long time ago, joined for a while, played, was very fun. She was actually, Aaliyah was there for when they took down Erewhon City also. She actively helped defeat the king greatly.
Nice.
Yeah, it was good. So anyway, he tells the story of how this efreeti military is advancing on Rhyat, and he corroborates Rasha's story that it was indeed their fault, that releasing the efreet long ago in the temple of that what they thought they defeated him, they instead released him. I need to see those words. Sorry.
I just wanted it.
They released him, and he has come back with the great vengeance on Rumadan, and Aaliyah and Mora have been fighting them. And unfortunately, Aaliyah went to take it on personally, and
they both did.
The creature was not as weak as Mora once remembered, and in the quest, Aaliyah was taken by the evil genie, and Mora was knocked unconscious. Her last effort was to deliver Moro away, teleport him away. so that he would also not be captured or caught. And so she is now possessed by the efreet.
Not possessed. She's in his possession.
Well, yeah. And
I mean, because
captured and in trouble, and he comes back with, again, a corroborating story to Rasha. So from there, Moro is too hurt and wounded to join them.
Unfortunately, he's a BA
Monk. But the efreeti is a BA efreeti.
Yeah, more higher.
More than they could handle.
I mean, yeah, just the two of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so at this point, or I mean, not like that moment, but they, it's Ragnar. Wait, does Anton go instead of Cyril?
Yeah, this is when Kevin introduces Anton. Yeah.
Kevin played Cyril, and then he was starting a new character because he was thinking about the fact that in character Cyril really was tired of adventuring, and he just wanted to stay home in his city and live his life with his wife and his son. And so Kevin did a new character, Anton Milovich, who's actually Cyril's uncle. Isn't he younger than him?
Yeah. No, his uncle's... Yeah, Cyril's younger than his uncle. His uncle's older.
Oh, I don't know. I thought there was like time shenanigans or something.
Mm.
Anyways, Anton is... What type of character? What does he do?
He's a dragon sorcerer.
What does that mean?
He like Graven, he's a dragon-blooded sorcerer.
Okay.
And but his is to song dragons, which is like the typical dragon of the Milovich line, due to time shenanigans. And yeah, he comes in as he's like a fighty sorcerer. He buffs into like a dragonish state and then claws and magics, and he's a little more adventurous and like up for anything, and up for anything, almost literally, as long as it's not evil.
Yeah. Yep.
So Cyril, unwanting to go, asks his uncle to go, and he's like, sure. He's here visiting for their child's birthday, and
he's like, why not?
Never been there before. Let's do it.
Yep. So it's Ragnar and Anton and Rasha and Aki and Nanashi. So I was wondering like how we got there. Did we teleport there and then Nanashi brought his ship to him? Because I know we were on his ship. We had his ship.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you got there. Like.
We were teleported there.
Right.
But I know we also had the ship, and you can't teleport the ship. But doesn't Nanashi have that special thing?
Yeah, he can, because his ship is
Nanashi has an airship, and it's also a water ship.
That he's made like into a legendary item. It goes with his legend, and he's able to move it where he wishes. If he is there, it can come to him, or if it's somewhere, he can go to it. Yeah.
He can open a door, any door, and then walk onto his ship. It's really cool. He has used that in some really sticky situations, especially near the end of the game. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, so we had... So then... It's very exciting. Rumadan. So, Jason has made these lovely like slides for all the countries and the cities, and I didn't show any of them off before. This is Rumadan, Desert of Wonders. No, don't do that. There.
So all these images I just found online.
Yeah, the background images are just...
I just find things that look cool and I go, this kind of represents it. I don't know. I don't really know where most of them came from. And I'm not, selling it. I'm not using it as like,
right,
this is my property. Not the case. It's a representation, so when people see it, they get an idea of what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
As well, the systems on there where you see magical items, qualities, all this type of stuff, totally straight from Pathfinder. Their settlement system, it's wonderful. It works very well to give a story for a place, and to give some bonuses and interesting things for people to do and look at while they're there. Things to consider when you're building a world. Very excellent system to build a world in. Thanks. That's all I gotta say.
So Rhyat is where Rasha is from, and it is also where the efreeti and his forces had been, making advances upon. And it's a very lovely city. It's a port city. It's so nice. It's so pretty. Anyways, it's neutral good, and not a lot of the cities in Rumadan are good.
No.
Only a couple of them, I think. Maybe 2. Not counting the Temple
Yeah.
of the Sky.
Only 2.
Yeah. Is
Rhyat and Carnoasis.
Is Carnoasis chaotic?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, I love.
There's no taxes there. Of course there are.
I love Carnoasis. It's so cool. But yeah, so Rasha is at this point still under the service of the Sultan Omar. What is that? Kadif. Blessed one. Sultan of Rhyat. A good man. Patron deity is the one true God. Who's kind of So the Amatius Spentas is the Rumadani pantheon?
Yes.
Of gods?
Yep.
And there are some people that worship the one true God, and very, very devoted followers of the one true God believe that, as it says, he's literally
the one true God.
The one true God, kind of the only one that really, is or matters or things like that.
And the Amatius, and they believe, they know the Amatius Pentas exist. They're like, oh, they're just the friends of God. Literally is what that means. Almost literally what it means. In Rumadani, anyway, that's what it means. And so these other gods exist there, and they're actually more ancient gods, but as time and culture changes and things come around, they've sort of been co-opted into this one true God religion. And that's how it works.
Yeah.
So they're not seen as gods in the one true God's religion. They're seen as
I would akin it to saints.
Yeah, basically.
Kind of.
Yeah, basically.
In Catholicism specifically. Yeah. Because in Catholic, people still they carry emblems of saints and offer prayers to them and things like that.
Or angels, same.
And angels too. Same, but more specifically,
Catholicism is way more polytheistic than they even realize. Just so you know.
Anyways, we're not gonna get into that.
It all stemmed from that anyway.
But yeah, so this is where they teleport to. And is he based in Bagra, or is he attacking Bagra, or
the other army?
The efreeti,
yeah, is sort of being supported, currently based in Bagra, but also being supported.
They kind of took it over a little bit.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, so there was a guy that rules. So we can go to Bagra if you want.
Yep. There we go. Neutral evil.
Khan Draylock. It should be Khan, not Shane.
It's fine.
Rules Bagra and has for a long time. This comes to a head later in much later stuff. So anyway, we'll get to that later. However, Bagra is where he rules. It is where the efreet and this guy, who is a summoner of some kind, has made some sort of arrangement or pact. And so this is where the efreeti armies are coming from. Basically an outer planar army, which is very bad to have on Naboria. Many people will be upset about that. Are coming from Bagra. They also are supported by Bahadina. But again,
which let me just
Bahadina is where Asgul Kurd rules, and nobody gives this guy crap for all the things he's done because they like the cut of his jib.
But yeah, see, as you can see, Rhyat's over here. Bagra is also a port city, but it's on the Blood Sea, which is the pirate sea. And then Bahadina is over there.
And the ruler of Bagra was once a student of the ruler of Bahadina.
I did not know that.
Yeah. It's master and apprentice trying to conquer Rumadan right now.
How rude.
But again, nobody gave that dude crap. they just kind of let him fade into the background.
PCs weren't really,
Paying attention to everything all the time.
Well, it's a big world, and almost no one is from Rumadan.
I know, it's great.
So they didn't care.
Yeah, I know, it's great. It works.
So they couldn't care. They had other things to care about.
They did.
Actively.
They gotta do the thing they gotta do and then go. And this is the thing they had to do. And then some of them go.
But yeah. This one. But yeah, so that was Bagra. Baladina.
Seen this before.
Nature evil. It's pretty. Oh, it's very interesting.
It's like a river city, like a Rocky Canyon river city.
It's cool. It's pretty cool. I like it.
It is very ancient. Some of the buildings here are not modern Rumadani construction. Same way with Bagra. There are ruins around this port that are not modern Rumadani culture.
Yep. And no one except for like one person has ever explored those at all.
2. 3. Moro and Aaliyah, as well as the professor.
Okay. This is a map of Bagra.
So this is one I never really got to finish fully yet. Mm-hmm. It's still in the drawing phase. Yeah.
I think it's kind of flipped because...
No, that's it.
Well, no, like as in
that's
compass
not north.
directions.
Yeah. Like
right?
If you rotate it, I mean...
Like the...
North is like on the right side of the page and a little down from center. But I just haven't put a compass on there yet.
That's Bagra. There is like a little central part. But yeah, so the efreeti was kind of coming out of here. And attacking. However... the fighting is pretty much occurring in the desert somewhere in between Rhyat and Bagra. Basically, that's where these battles are occurring, is in the desert.
Mm-hmm.
And so. There's a lot of things I don't remember, okay?
At the party before they leave, Aki and Nanashi have a moment to also speak with Moro about the Black Scrolls, and Moro informs them of what he knows about them and not necessarily where they are, because Moro knows not to tell anyone where they are, but he informs them that he knows at least 2 of them are well protected currently. We'll go with that. What did I have linked here for this Black Scrolls? What is this?
I don't know.
Huh. Oh, whatever.
It's not on screen.
And then, this is also where Moro, Ragna, and Rasha kind of discuss, what happened in Rumadan and what she's had to go through, and they find some camaraderie and agree to, yes, we will definitely go help. This needs to be stopped. We like Rhyat.
Right.
It's a good place.
That, though, babe.
Right, I'm just reiterating, getting us back into, because we talked about a bunch of other stuff.
Oh, we talked about Rumadan, and then I said, yeah.
So we're in the desert. You guys teleported there.
And they talked to the Sultan of Rhyat, and they find out that there are forces out in the desert, like, now, basically, moving on Rhyat. So what they do, I think, and like I said, there is very much of this battle that I don't remember. Again, my memory is...
A lot of it was descriptive.
Right. There's very much of this battle that I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
Regardless, I don't... I know it was descriptive.
We're just making a statement.
So they... And I don't really remember a lot of what happened, so this is why I'm kind of being...
Yeah, just keep going. I
don't really remember what happened. I think they go out ahead of the other forces on the airship with Nanashi. And then they get close to the opposing forces, so like the PCs and the people that work on the ship, the crew. That's the word. The crew. There it's. And then, as they get closer to the enemy forces, efreeti start flying up to meet them and attack them.
Because efreeti can fly.
Yeah.
And they are individually nastier than anyone on Anash's crew except for Mr. Wiggles.
Right, but they're also
Don't mess with Mr.
PCs
Wiggles.
on board.
Yeah, well, they're not on Anash's crew, though. They're just...
I know, but, what happened then?
Well, so they clash, right? And the battle incurs. Yeah, that's basically what
I
happens.
don't know, like, there's fighting, and then...
So the armies of... What's left in the armies of Rhyat fight with the armies of Bagra and Bahadina on the ground.
Down below.
And the efreeti, many of them, though not all of them, engage the airship. Through great magics and, bombardments from the airship, Anton turning into a dragon and fighting, things like that, they're able to defeat and fight back the efreeti from taking Rhyat, thus halting their forward motion.
However, as they are beating back the efreeti, and the efreeti can tell that they are on the run, what's his name? Razeem, the big one, the big bad efreeti that was released accidentally by some party members earlier, that is really the reason we're here. He grabs one of the party members. Do you remember which one it was? Because I don't remember who it was.
Just keep describing and I'll remember.
He grabs one of the party members, just like wraps his arms around them like they're facing forward, and he just grabs them and is just about to go backwards off the ship and take this person with him as a prisoner. I literally don't remember who it was. I just remember because I stopped it.
I think it was Nanashi.
Was it Nanashi?
I think it was Nanashi.
Nanashi, the captain of the ship that we are on. Perhaps. Maybe we can ask somebody else later, see if they remember. But, so he grabs one of Rasha's friends and is about to abscond with them. And Rasha is just like, no, I'm not going to let that happen. So Jason has this cool...
Or was Aki? Sorry.
It might have been Aki, actually. That sounds a bit more correct.
I think, yeah.
Aki, who she knows a bit more than Nanashi.
Yeah, that
she
makes
would have
sense.
done the same thing, either way.
I think it was Aki,
So Jason has this cool thing in his system where...
Oh, thanks.
called Destiny Points. And I think for part of it, you would just gain them from doing cool things. I mean, because your player characters, you're
the main characters in the
destined
story. Yeah.
to do bigger and cooler things than anyone else. So for a lot of the game, Jason would award Destiny Points for specific, like, cool things that people did. I know that because I saw that in your notes.
Or milestones in the story.
Right, or milestones. Later, it just got to the point where if you were able to play in a session, you gained 5 Destiny points, because that was probably just easier for Jason to keep track of.
Well, that and you guys were always doing epic
and we were
things,
always
so,
doing
like,
epic things. I mean,
none of this makes sense.
You know. So, I spent 2 Destiny points and said that I would make an attack against the efreeti to save my friend, Aki. So Rasha takes her 2 swords.
Sabers,
her 2 sabers, and runs towards the efreeti and does a slash across, like, his arm where he is holding her friend, and actually cuts his arm off.
Pop. The efreeti is very surprised.
Her friend is released, and Razeem retreats. And they have his arm, which turns out to be quite helpful
Later.
because they can use it to spy on him.
Very much so.
Not that Rasha knew that, obviously, because she's not magic.
So after they defeat the efreeti forces, which when I say army, it was like they were also supported by the armies of Rhyat. For when they went there, they saw the Sultan and met him, and like, yes, everything's distressed, we need help. Rasha, thank you for bringing these heroes back. Please take care of this. The heroes go out and take care of it. They come back with the armor, the efreeti, and the efreetis, and Bagra's armies retreating and not able. They really halted a very nasty progression, because if they would have not succeeded, well, this army would have steamrolled over most of Rumadan, which actually would have made Rumadan one nation under the efreeti.
Which we don't want.
Yeah, usually not a good thing.
No.
But it would have been one whole nation instead of a bunch of city-states. Anyway.
It's fine. They're
but
strong.
They stopped that. And people went back to their corners to regroup and rebuild and figure out what else they could do. And from this, many things occur. And we can get to that in future discussions and sessions. Because it does come up.
But yeah. So they defeated the efreeti and his peoples, and okay, and then it's actually time for a party. So where's the green arms in, babe?
So after they do
pull
this,
up a map.
they come back and sort of settle. You know, the score is settled. They've ended the efreetis. It's in Teleron. They end the difficulties with the efreeti. They return to Milovic and sort of like thank each other, and others are kind of doing similar things. Other characters went and did other stuff, and we'll describe those when it comes time to do that with those folks and in their character stories. Mm-hmm. But the entire group meets back once again, and this is any of the PCs who are now NPCs played by the people, anyone and everyone playing a character. The War of Erewhon is over. A few problems have been solved personally or around the world, loose ends tied up. So many people think this is a very good time to have a celebration, because who knows when peace like this will reign again and everyone wants to be with their friends. So they decide to go where it all started, in Teleron,
which is in Nabias,
which is this now capital of Nabias, at the Green Arms Inn.
Teleron is very leafy and green city. It's lovely, honestly. Absolutely lovely.
It's a druid city.
Yes, I like it a bunch.
It's also now where the royalty and religion of Navias rule in one place now. They are more united than they ever had been in the past. And yeah.
Of Nabias?
Yeah.
Da-da-da. But yeah.
And you have the map, yes.
Yes. Another beautiful, beautiful map that he has made. Look at this. This is gorgeous. This is Teleron. I absolutely love these maps. They're so cool. And I like that I helped name parts of this. So, as you can see, this H right here, it's the Teeth of Lux. And when he was working on the map, and this down here says the Mouth of Lux, he had that as the Mouth of Lux and the Teeth of Lux, but he didn't have like anything else. And I was like, why are those called that? And he was like, oh, well, they're like teeth. I was like, is that because the river is called Lux? And he was like, it is now.
Brilliant. That's the answer.
It was great. Oh, and this is one really cool feature of the map that I like. If you can see up near where it says Teleron, under the cloud, there is the hidden grove. And it is difficult to see because, and he did that on purpose because it literally is the hidden grove. That is like the big druid grove.
One of the largest, if not the largest, groves in the world. and it is hidden within this forest, this great forest that starts on this island and goes far back. And this forest surrounds the entire city. Where the city, you see the green all the way around it. There's literally a oh, that's not all on the screen.
I know,
Yeah, okay.
because I wanted
I
to
see.
be able to see.
There's literally a wall of trees created by druids that connect,
It's
and
awesome.
the doors to the city are walled, are sculpted doors with the story of the druids on them. And people, when they come in, they can see this as they approach the city.
Mm-hmm.
And when you approach the city from either its eastern or southern gate, you're approaching through canopy, through dense canopy. And so, as you can see in this little corner down here in Lion's End, B is the Green Arms Inn.
Bloop.
And that's where almost the entirety of the story. So when everyone began their characters a long time ago, everyone had a session 1 that was separate to their character. Session 0 made the character and ran a little intro for their character to get them into the setting.
Right, like there was a little bit of story for them.
And there were some bandit problems that a lot of people had. So
Bandits.
to bring them all together, there was a call out for heroes and adventurers to help. Another local hired hero is looking for people to aid in dealing with this bandit problem, and they all met at the Green Arms Inn. So this has been a place that throughout time in the game, people have also helped build up, give money to the inn owner, Otto, and not Otto.
He's a different inn, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. That's actually in a totally different story. I'm thinking of Dragonlance. That's not the name. But a different, I forget his name right now. The innkeep. And it's become not a fancy place, but like a more cozy place, and a place for adventurers and travelers, and it's always lively and bustling. And many of the people who played bards, such as Nicola Andel, played there often, and yeah. So they decide to meet at the Green Arms Inn in Talaron, where it all began, for one final hurrah for who knows what's going to happen next.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know if we're going to have another time of peace or war, but now is a good time to get everyone together and celebrate.
Mm-hmm. It is obviously Rasha's first time in Talaron and in the Green Arms Inn.
No, it is Otto.
It is Otto.
I need to change that name.
Oh, is that from... Oops. That's funny. We love you, Tracy Hickman.
Yes.
As we say on the Established Facts, we love you, don't sue us. We love you, don't sue.
It'll be changed for the story.
For the books.
Yes.
But yeah. So, this is how we ended our session that weekend. Was just role-playing as late as we felt like staying up. And... Oh yeah, but yeah.
There's some things that happen in this,
Your
though.
group will have rented out the Green Arms Inn in Talaron for the night. The innkeep is happy to have you all, new and old, not the fanciest place and the wealthiest city in the world, but a place that is both familiar and adventurous. It has an outdoor patio that a small trail leads into a forest from. There is plenty of light and shadow with an upstairs balcony that leads to various rooms that can be rented for the night. Plants hang all around inside and out, and vines grow around the arches and outer walls in time-sculpted beauty. It is a simple place with a great hearth and plenty of seats for everyone. As it so happens, one Nicola Andela, as we have mentioned before, our friend Shane,
the Nazia
even though
elder now.
he was not there,
Yeah.
has come to play for all of his friends. His music is passionate, dark, and beautiful. Illusion, Delorious,
Yes.
another former PC,
Another former PC.
joins in, and for a while the party goes wild as they have the whole house joining in song for a concert few will ever see the likes of again in their lives.
They rolled ridiculous performances.
All are stories about the past exploits of the party.
And there are people from town here too. It wasn't just like, no, only we can be here.
Right.
But they rented it out, so like anybody who came, they didn't have to worry about paying for drinks or food. They could just come and enjoy. And they were celebrating with anybody who happened to be in that night. And then they stayed later after it closed down. They were able to continue on and celebrate.
Let's see, Nicola. The Laifi and his band of Naziev
Naziev.
bring to the songs, poetics, and reenactments is inspiring to you all.
So Nicola, sorry, I'll interject here. Nicola Andala is a Naziev caravaner. He's become an elder and has taken the place of the oracle of their people, out of Kudala, which is an ancestral home of theirs. It's within Nabiaz also. He has always had this. A long time ago, he purchased a wagon carriage and turned it into like this performance place, and some of his people, when he gained leadership, would come travel around with him. So he has this camp that always follows him of performers and Naziev. So he brought them all here, and they're all performing in the bar, and Alucin joins them, and that type of stuff. That's how it is. So it's very lively and like, imagine Gogol Bordello playing this place, but with folk instruments.
If you don't know Gogol Bordello,
they're awesome. Go
look
check
them
them out. They're one of the best bands I've ever seen live.
Sin, another former BC, who the player was not there,
Mike's character.
appears late and in style, and he and Nicola begin another challenge for the hat.
Yes, so there's an old story. A long time ago, they made a hat of disguise, but they only had enough money to make one. So they put a feather in the hat, right, to denote like a difference from other hats. And then they would, between like adventures, they would go to different bars and like play games of chance with each other to see who got to wear the hat this time, or who owned the hat. It's sort of like the Oak and Bucket game, right, that people are familiar with around here, except it's for the hat. And they do drinking games and dice games and card games, and whoever beats the other one out gets the hat for a period of time until they play the next game. And since in their lives they've gone in different places and kind of, distance from each other, anytime they meet, they still play for the hat. I actually have an entire storyboarded adventure that is just about the hat.
Really?
Yes.
That's adorable.
Yeah, there's no like specific character. It's about like how the hat gets blown around by wind and lands in water and arrives in different places, and yeah, totally. And he just follows the adventures of this hat as it goes in different places and does things, and then ends up winding up in these guys' hands, or well, back in their hands. Anyway,
that's wonderful.
It's blown off of Nicola's head and ends up back in Sin's hands at the end. I do have a picture. Can I do something real quick?
If you want to show on screen, you have to be in the other window.
Yep.
Not that window.
Sorry.
That window. Yep. Just click here. Yeah.
Thank you. I do have a picture
of the hat or one of the characters?
Of my friends, Mike, Shane, and my cousin Ron. We all did a weekend at Potato Creek one time. And I said, bring something with your characters to represent your characters. We were going to like sit around the table and had a weekend of like drinking and cooking over fire and staying in a cabin in the snow and D&D. And it was a great time. And it was all for Ragnar. And this is what they brought. So as you can all see, this is my friend Mike. That is Sin Larethian, bastard son of Arrow on the 22nd.
Yeah, put the mouse down. Over on the left, it's hard to see on the screen.
Oh, I see. In the center is my friend Shane Terrell. He's playing Nicola Andala, the traveling minstrel and Naziev bard. He is wearing the hat currently.
Ah, I see. That is the hat.
That is the hat. And on the right is my cousin Ron Carter playing Duadna Natel, the druid of the hidden grove of Talaron.
That's so cool.
And so that's they got wigs and a bunch of stuff and showed up, and I'm like, I love you guys. Like This was one of the best moments one of the best gaming moments, and everyone there that weekend had a really good time. I just wanted to share that with you all.
That's lovely. 2026. There we go. But yes, so okay. One thing that I forgot to mention was that after defeating the Efreeti, Rasha was released from her service to the Sultan of Rhyat. This is important. Which just meant that she didn't have to come back home if she didn't want to, right? But they do know that Khan Draylock and the Efreeti are still at large, and they're heading to some place called the Sunken City. I think we got that from scrying on them with the arm.
Yep, you sure did. This is where, like I said, all the people are here. Like Redding is here, who is.
But yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of jumped.
Well, that's you said some of the scrying of the arm, so like Redding had to be here. He's the one who scryed on the arm. That's why I said that.
Oh, okay. Had to be where? I don't know.
At the party.
We didn't scry at the party.
Oh, I thought you guys did.
No, I mean that was like before, I think. Anyways. Wait,
No.
did this happen?
Yeah. Yeah, that totally happened.
Wait, was I there? Is that supposed to me? Did that happen this
That happened this
Game?
session. Yeah, it totally did.
before the green arm's in?
No, what? Like during.
We left in the middle of the party?
Yeah, you guys did. Yeah, this party took place over like a day.
We
And
left
people
in
were
the middle
here
of the
and
party?
went and did things.
No,
Yeah.
I remember going to
You did.
Neladnire, but we
weren't
left
there
in the
long.
middle of the...
Yeah, because Nanashi could get there like that.
Oh, because of his ship?
Right.
So, in the middle of the party, Treskin, the half-drow, Treskin Volraine, Redding, Aki. Sorry, it says Avi, which is kind of funny. Because that's part of my actual name. Treskin, Redding, Aki, Alexander, Nanashi, Rasha, and Ragnar go to seek out a meeting with Treskin's mother in Neladnire.
So, during the whole Battle of Erwin that Nabias was facing, the Drow and some of their own forces were sacking parts of Talaminus, the Elven lands. And in one of these battles that happened long ago, and another thing we can talk about later, they tried to take out Duerden, and Treskin's mother was there, and they captured her. The heroes who were there captured her. Ryan played in that game, not as Treskin, but as Lauren the Rethian NPC that he reprised later a couple of times. And so they, through Elucin being here, saying, "Oh, we captured this person," Treskin's like, "Oh yeah, that's my mother," and like so he goes to try to talk to his mother.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so you guys arrive, and they don't want to let even a half-drow into their city.
Yeah, it's
So Aki
okay, I'm trying to get to
Aki has to like diplomatically convince them to let them in, and it also helps that Nanashi is a Ruathar. They've aided the elves before. Oh, actually, no. This is where Nanashi becomes a Ruathar.
Which slide is this?
Teleminus.
Thank you.
So they do end up convincing the city to let them in because it's like, oh, it is my mother, and I want to attempt to glean some kind of info from her. 1 second, I'll be right back.
But yeah, so they went to Neladnire, which is like the center. There's not a map for Neladnire, is there?
There is. It's an old one.
That's fine. It's a map. Anyway, yeah. So they go to Neladnire. They eventually get to where Treskin can talk to his mother.
Right. They do different things. Like Alexander looks at shops, and they talk to elves, and they have this, kind of nice-ish time because the elves are still a little like, yeah, we just had some weird stuff happen with humans, so we're not so certain humans should be here. But you talked your way in pretty well. It's okay. Nanashi goes off and like does hunting with some part of the elves as well, and that's where he is able to pick up Ruathar because he proves
Which
him
is
as
like
a great
elf
hunter.
friend or something, right?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And like he, aids them in the hunt, and he's all about elven lifestyle anyway. So, yeah. A lot of things happen here, but a lot of quick things.
Treskin learns his mother is lying crazy biatch.
Yeah.
That doesn't care about him in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, of course.
She doesn't confirm or deny anything he asks, and attempts to threaten Redding in releasing her to battle her. Redding does not do so.
Yeah.
Of course, why would he do that?
Right. So, like, she sucks.
But yeah, and then they go back to the party.
Yeah, they literally just go right back to the party after that. It's like, well, that didn't work. Let's go back to the party.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
And Aki's drunk the whole time, by the way, too. But he actually gets along swimmingly with the elven nobles because Aki can, like, get fit in
like
anywhere.
He's like a noble,
yeah,
sort of.
So he knows, like, the right things to say, and, like, they treat him very well and welcome him back in the future. Same with Nanashi, and they have good.
They didn't dislike Rasha, at least.
Right, they didn't, and they have good relations with Nabias. So like the soon-to-be king of Nabias, Redding, is also invited back, though he's still going through that currently. But anyway.
But yeah. Other people did lots of things during the meeting, but not Rasha. So
right.
That's
some of them
the party,
Gravin,
the meeting, the party at the Green Arms Inn.
They also like figure some stuff out about other characters. So it's this whole like event that people kind of go in different places and come back, and
it's a long party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aki opened. Oh, I didn't put that in Milovich. I never did that. Aki opened a temple of Matarasu in Milovich over this time.
Nice.
After the party sometime passed. However, there is an important thing that happened at the party that we are missing.
What? What happened at the party that we were missing?
I'm reading.
Because we pretty much read all of that bit. Ooh. Pardon us, we're scrolling through notes.
Was it this one?
Maybe not.
No, I think. Give me one moment. I'm looking. I think it was actually though.
I don't know what you're talking about. So,
where the Temple of the Sky actually appeared and was opened.
Nope. The Tarlac?
Where like it floats over the city and.
You mentioned that in the next session, which I was not there for.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not the next section. It's something that happens at the party. But we can go over it next time. Yeah, it totally does. Yeah. If it's right after this, it's because I copied notes in different places.
Anyways.
So because Duadna, like Sin and Nicola are here, and a long time ago, many characters were working on getting this old temple raised and figuring out what it was about, and they finally do. And Duadna has realized that it's tied to his bloodline and power and other wizards who are here from earlier sessions. A thing happens during the party as well, that the Temple of Tarlac is seen floating over the city, and Duadna joins the party for a while and then leaves, right? Mm-hmm. And then a great green light appears in the sky where the temple is, and the temple is fully activated.
Yeah, that actually floating temple there was not there until
this
exact moment during the party.
And it becomes
an eventful party.
It becomes a staple of Talaron afterwards, and an example of its might and ability.
Yep, but again, that's something that Rasha knows absolutely nothing about. So, she just knew that it wasn't there, and then it was, and that's all she knows.
It became fully connected to the ley lines of the planet, and its power was, when it was activated, was shot out from the top of the temple into the sky, possibly alerting things that are out there beyond the world, now that the world was unlocked.
Again, Rasha knows nothing about this, so she can't care.
But that's essentially where this one ended. With the party. You guys roleplayed late into the evening. We ended with the party.
As you should.
Yeah.
But that's all for today. Thanks for hanging out. As always, we'll be back next Tuesday at noon for another RPG story time, and I'll be back Thursday at noon for crafty time. Still working on Among Us plushies because I so really slow.
Goodbye, everybody.
Anyway, thanks for coming. Oops, my Streamlabs is over here, and we'll see you all next time.